In this first bit, I reference this Palestinian poet called Mahmoud Darwish. It's not a poem about Palestine, but I just reference him, so I thought I'd just, if you know, okay, yeah, shout out to Mahmoud Darwish. Okay. Darwish said, "I do not sleep to dream, I sleep to forget you." I think he also would have said that we do not just write for pleasure, we bleed these words to purge, to forget or remember. I will remember. Mama taught me to remember. Mama also said we do not have friends in this house. And it took me 15 years to know that what she meant is we will only ever have family. Brothers in faith, sisters in calamity, my Slamily. Baba showed me that yes, water is thinner, but sometimes blood is too thick to swallow down. Water kept me up right when I was about to drown. My sisters taught me that the fire within me was not anyone's to ever put out. And thugs do get lonely too, but we will always be soldiers. My mother taught me to pity soldiers. My tata taught me what it meant to really be a soldier. My jiddo taught me war. I don't know how he did it, but he also taught me how to yield tenderness in rough hands. He also taught me that there is such thing as a good man. Men have taught me to feel disgusted at the thought of any woman ever loving herself. Men taught me insecurity. Insecurity fed me my first licks of anxiety a long time ago when I didn't know if what I was saying was ever right. It's left a bad taste in my mouth and made me the quietest, loud person ever. I've never felt so sure like I have when writing in prose, when painting my world in poetry and prose. I do not just write for pleasure. I bleed these words to purge. I remember that Darwish also said, and scream, that you may know you're still alive and that life on this earth is possible. This is my screaming. I am still alive. I will remember. I will survive. I was asked recently if my fashion was old school inspired. I automatically became confused. Was it the color of my hijab or the style of my shoes? Becky with the good hair better back it up with an excuse. She said, "Why do you wear that scarf around your neck? It's sort of old-fashioned." I didn't know what she was talking about, but she looked scared of my reaction. "Oh, you mean this?" I asked. She didn't stay for long, had to go to her next class. You see, I brought this out because it does get cold sometimes, but how do I tell her that it's been winter in Syria for a very long time, that there's been frost for 69 years in the occupied lands of Palestine, that blood has stained the snow-capped mountains of Lebanon since the dawn of my time, that you've tried to make our resistance beautiful, that you've tried to make our freedom beautiful, that this cold is never beautiful. Stop making our kafayas your version of beautiful. Stop making our beautiful expired. Our beautiful has always been something your people have admired. Swallow our beautiful up, but spit us out. It's time that you knew that our kafayas are the stitches of our resistance against you. That our kafayas are the love that revolution can't be spelled without. They always ask me where I'm from, and I struggle to tell them that I am cedar on eucalyptus lands, that I am from the land that will one day consume our bodies 6 feet under, that I am from the land that today consumes me because it makes me wish that I was 6 feet under, that I am transplanted heart in rejecting body, that I wish you knew that I am somebody, that I am a rose in the barrel of an AK-47, and I am inspired because I am only ever exotically desired and only ever really required to fill a quota. They ask me where I'm from, and I tell them that I am fully sick. What they don't know is that I am also fully sick and tired of people seeing this hijab, this melanin, this name. I tell them where I'm from, but all I get in response is hipsters trying to claim my tabuli, my hummus, my falafel, you will gladly swallow up our culture, but spit me out because I make you uncomfortable. Because I am just as Australian as you are and just as immigrant as you are, but you are still uncertain of where I'm from. They ask me where I'm from, and I tell them that my first breath of air was in a hospital room on Eldridge Road in Bankstown, that my foundations are snow-capped Lebanese mountains and the rest of me is only just perisher blue. I tell them that my first breath of air should have been Mediterranean Sea, sand and stars, but you pillaged my lands and then let people like Peter Dutton flee from your terror with terrorism. So now I can only see the stars from afar. They tell me it's cloudy because I live in the city. I tell them that I can't see the stars from here because you close my curtains every night. I guess it's really just because I'm not white. They ask me where I'm from, and I tell them that I live on Darug land, that this land makes me feel so alone, but I somehow still call Australia home. Now, just before I wrap this, whatever this is, up, I'm so grateful to be on this stage tonight. You know, this stage, so many of my inspirations have stood before me here, so I'm so blessed. So just before I start this, I always feel like I'm riding in this like constant circle of I'm gonna write, but I want to try and be different, but then I get stuck in writer's block because it's so hard for me to be different like from what I usually write. And I figured it's because like it's hard to write what I don't know, and all I know is that my existence in this country is political, and so many of yours are. So I'm going back to where we started, back to where I came from, back to my foundations, back to revolution, back to revolution. Ain't no revolution without woman. Ain't no revolution in this man's world without woman. The woe of men, the burden of creation. We are the givers of the next generation. We are the queens of the nation. I am no longer assimilation. I am innovation, and there ain't no revolution without woman. The words are yelled out and graffitied on walls. How can they not see that this world will not heal without us all in all, with a peace sign in one hand and a pen in the other? I shall write this down because in flesh we are brothers. Don't ever think of my melanin as the tone for melancholy, and don't you dare think of my womanhood detrimentally. I should never have to justify what happens in the streets, and don't you ever tell me that I don't dress for me. And for God's sake, as a Muslim woman, I never want pity. I just want an apology for all that they've wronged me, because I am power and I will bloom, and I can birth a revolution in this very womb. Television and film has taught my sisters and I that they don't want us to know we exist, for our misrepresentation is annihilation. And this very conversation is a cry of desperation, a demonstration of resistance on how a world built on injustice is a world that is poor. So you better believe me when I say that my very words are a revolution in this endingless war. For my mother's veiled mind nurtured mine before they could. A songbird never heard emerging from these burning, brilliant ashes in a plume of resilient red. She drove away dissenters who could not see, for I am she and she is me. So I, a civilian, a martyr, I call again for our revolution, our intifada. I plead for you to read, to respond, to sing along to this fight song so strong, for you to take a look at this earth so sick and diseased, that the life lost because others mislead. We must intercede For our distorted bodies can only be healed with one solution, and it's for everyone to finally recognize that ain't no revolution without woman.